Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.
Good answer, Jace. Alex has a question. He says, how often should you trade? When people come to you, Jason, how can you sort of pull out their personality traits, if they're going to be trading, each and every second, weeks, months, that kind of thing?
Well, we always, because we focus on a number of different asset classes in the office, and we make that information and more so, of course, options on Option Source. But the one thing that an individual has to do is step back and figure out what their objectives are. And for me, that I'm sitting in front of 3 big monitors all day long, I can trade. I might have 4 trades in the day on the futures side of my account, but I might be managing an option position that I've had in play for 3 weeks. So the level of my, the consistency of trades that I'm taking is based on what my objectives are and what my availability is to manage those positions. The one thing that I would say to anybody starting out, and just to get back to that trade simulator, chat that we were having, is the way that you can determine how many positions you can manage is by doing them in that trading simulator. So many of you work during the day. Many of you may or may not have access to your computers. And so I would suggest that you take some time, you use a trade simulator, you go through your day-to-day routine, and if you find that you just can't stay on top of the number of positions in your account, well, it's time to dial it back. So you establish that benchmark in the simulator before you find out the hard way in the live environment.
Thanks, Jason. I'm going to take one last one, unless any of the attendees have a fresh question. But here it goes, Jace. David has a question. How does MACD identify overbought, oversold, since it's not bounded like RSI or stochastics?
Well, basically, what it does is it measures the essentially to a certain respect the momentum within a trade within a particular movement. So maybe I can go back. The best way to sort of look at it is to reinforce what I talked about convergence and divergence. And let me just bear with me here, and hopefully I can find an example on our chart here. So let's look at this low here. Maybe I'll just go back even further and see if I can get a. So you'll see that in this low here, we essentially were looking at our MACD histogram showing signs of a fairly significant push down. And so the further the near-term prices run away from the longer-term prices, the deeper these bars become. Down here, we saw that these levels began to decrease. And what this is showing you is that although the price action dropped down lower than this previous one, we're in fact reflecting to a certain extent an oversold area as momentum is beginning to taper. So even though price action is continuing in a certain direction, the momentum into that low is starting to pull back, suggesting the possibility of a move to the upside. Now, this isn't one of the greatest examples necessarily, but that's essentially what we're looking at. And we can also look at these big sweeping moves as our MACD lines are moving from this level down here on the lower range to our upper range as being an indication of overbought and oversold as well. But in the true sense of the word, you would look at overbought, oversold on your RSI or on your stochastics a little more effectively. And hopefully that answers the question there for you.
I think so, Jace. Jace, I want to thank you, but I want to give you a moment to just recap. Hopefully, I'm sure I've had so many positive comments that people all over the world can contact you at optionsource.net. If you wouldn't mind just recapping, the services that you offer there and how people can best contact you and any final comments you might have.
Sure, absolutely, and thanks very much for that. So again, optionsource.net, an online resource focusing specifically on utilizing the options market to participate in a number of different ways in equities and in currencies. We offer on a weekly basis, usually 3 to 4 online tutorials focusing on specific strategies, focusing on specific market observations, technical analysis, so on and so forth, to help the average individual just understand the dynamics of this market a little more effectively. We are very dedicated to providing as much support and mentorship as possible to our members so that they feel comfortable using the options market and they have some real-time relevant observations and ideas to work off of as they're creating their approach to the market. And again, making sure that we reinforce the idea that there are a number of different approaches to using the options market. Not everybody is going to be speculating using options. Some might be generating cash flow through covered call strategies and other sorts of different strategies. And so we're just there to essentially set people in the right direction and provide them with support on a continued basis. And again, any questions, Jason at optionsource.net, or simply visit the website and poke around and see what we have to offer there, and then certainly we're always open for questions.
Well, Jace, thanks again. I'm sorry I'm not going to be at the Financial Forum. I know they shifted the dates, so that sort of messed me up a little bit.
Yeah, disappointed. I always enjoy seeing you one-on-one for usually for a dinner or a pint, just to kind of discuss the markets. And so maybe I'm going to have to come to New York, I guess.
Or you never know. Hopefully, I'll be up in Toronto real soon, one way or another.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we will get together. But
I'll thank you once again. I'll thank everybody very much for taking the time to join this evening, and I will hang up now and continue on with the rest of my day. But hopefully we'll see you online again sometime.
Jace, thank you very much.
You bet, Steve. Take care.
Jason Ayres, remember, he's the founder of OptionSource.net. So please, if you're interested, go to OptionSource.net to learn more about all of his services. Dan Passarelli is going to be with us next Tuesday. Please join us again. I know a lot of you come back each and every week, and I hope that you find this very valuable. Dan is a mentor also, actually, and he'll be talking about calendar spreads and how you might want to consider calendar spreads when you believe that the market's going to be in a more of a neutral market period. So Dan will be talking about calendar spreads, and that's on October 20th. And then Jack Crooks will be back a couple days later talking about global impact on currency markets and trying to identify opportunities for all of us. So, again, next week we have 2 webinars with Dan Passarelli on Tuesday, and Jack will be back on Thursday. Jack Crooks from Black Swan Trading. I want to thank all of you for attending today's webinar. Please join us via the archive. You can listen to this again and also come back to the future webinar at fxoptions.com. That's a new website. We just launched it. I'd highly recommend that you check it out. And remember, the FX options are available for all investors as long as you have an account with a broker, whether you're looking to hedge, do some debit spreads, credit spreads, or even straddles or strangles, iron condors. They're all available. And, you just have to have an account with an equity options broker. Keep coming back to the ISE for future webinars. We're always talking about FX options. And I want to wish you all a pleasant trading day tomorrow. Thanks again for joining us. On behalf of the ISE, this is Steve Meisinger, wishing you a very happy evening. Take care now.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.